Toby Alderweireld is in Qatar, ready to complete his move to Al Duhail as Tottenham look to replace him with maybe one, maybe two, and maybe three centre-backs. Today I'm joined by David Harris, the Irish Hotspur, and Danny Kyriakou, the Bun, to discuss all of the latest transfer news, and my God, there's a whole lot to get through. I'm Matt Hayes, and you're listening to the Tottenham Fanboys Podcast. Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham Blog and to yet another transfer stream, because there's just so much to get through. We really need to be on here as much as we possibly can to get through all of this news that we're hearing, with a lot of updates today from Alistair Gold, a few from Fabrizio Romano, and quite a few as well coming from Italian sources such as Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere della Sera, Tutto Mercato. All of them have been talking about Spurs, and I'm joined by two fantastic guests to help us siphon through this news. First of all, we've got David Harris, the Irish Hotspur. David, how are you getting on today?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks for inviting me on this esteemed panel. Delighted to see Danny back as well. And yeah, look, we've a lot to dissect today, so let's get through it.
Thanks so much for joining us, David. Always a pleasure to have you on. And Danny, the Bun, you're back on the channel. How are you doing, my friend?
Brilliant to be back, man. It's as always an honour to be on this channel, and with two goats sitting right here. I mean, I can't really say any more, really. But pleasure to be here, man. And thanks for inviting me again.
No worries at all. The pleasure is all ours. Anyone who is watching, do make sure to hit that like button if you're looking forward to the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I have a graphic. 53% of you who watch are not subscribed. Wow. So please, if you are one of those 53%, hit that subscribe button. It will be massively appreciated. And I do just want to remind you that we are part of the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's only dedicated sport podcast network. You can find the next show you love or join the team at www.sport-social.co.uk. But enough of the admin stuff, enough of that stuff. Let's get into the news. And the first bit of news, as you can see below me there, is that Daniel Levy has given the green light for Tottenham to remove to Cristian Romero, with all sides of the all parties within the deal confident that a deal can be done. I've seen some reports suggest that it could be done as early as today. Danny, we'll come to you first in this one. Cristian Romero for about €50 million. What are your thoughts?
If it goes through, I mean, for me, I was saying it last night, this is a statement signing. I don't care what happens to anything else. This is a statement of intent, this is, because you don't go out and spend €50 million on the best Serie A defender last season. It's an incredible signing, and I know David said it as well before, and he's going to epitomize, like, he's going to say everything perfectly when he gets his chance to speak. But the guy is an animal. He's what we need, and he's an old school. It's weird because he's South American, so he's got that South American bite in him, but he's got that old school kind of Italian still in him. So he's got that old school defending abilities. And we haven't had a player like that, I would say, probably since maybe Ledley King, I think, since the last time we had someone who's a proper defender. So yeah, I think he could be a absolutely brilliant signing. And as long as he adapts well to this league, I think he's going to be brilliant. And I think the aggressiveness of him, I think it's going to help that adaptation period a lot smoother and a lot quicker than we expect.
Absolutely, I fully agree. We got Brian Daigle here in the chat doing his Matty Hayes and Danny Kyriakou songs, and he says the Irish Hotspur still working on a song for you, so we'll get one for David soon. But Brian, good to see you in the live chat. We got so many other regulars here. We got Cody Mack, Jack Kanicki. Good to see the both of you. We got Stuart, channel member. We got Chris. We got Temple, Christopher, another channel member. Oscar, Richard, Ishak. Thank you very much to all of you for tuning in. David, what are your thoughts on Cristian Romero for €50 million?
Do you know what? It's about time, to be honest with you. I'm absolutely delighted with this one because, look, this guy's a dog. And I mean a dog in a nice way. Like, he's an animal. He will get stuck in. He will put his head in where boots fly. One thing I noticed about him, he's very, very good at reading the game. He gets in there for interceptions. He's my sort of defender. He's not one of these defenders that'll back off and let them get the ball. He's right up their arse ready to nick it. And that's what you want at Tottenham, someone that can make them interceptions, because we've been too nice to play against all season long. Teams are getting on the ball, beating 3-4 players. You know what I mean? No one's putting a leg in. This guy, if he beats two players in the midfield, this guy's just going to take him out, take a yellow card, and then ball up the defenders. What more, the midfielders, for letting him go by him? What more do you want? This guy is going to be an absolute animal. If you can get someone in beside him, look, you could even partner him with Joey Rodon. You know, Joey Rodon would be a perfect partnership for him. And just for me, he's very good in the air as well, defensively and attackingly from set pieces. Look, he does pick up a card every other game. that's what we need sometimes. I couldn't give a shit about cards, to be honest with you. It's all about the performance on the pitch, and from what I see, and positionally wise, he's very, very good as well. He's a throwback to kind of, I know he's Argentinian, but he has that bit of Italian in him. You can, like, you know, he's learned over there because he's always in the right position. He's always in the right position, and that's being coached into him. So you have a player who positionally is good, aerially is good. He's got a very good passing range on him, but he's an absolute animal, and we need someone like that at the back line.
100%. Martin there in the live chat says, training a terrible Argentine for a quality Argentine sounds business, with Lamela looking likely to go to Sevilla as well. Just to run through a few of the stories from the most reliable sources today, to give a bit more context on an Alistair Gold story. He said, Spurs chairman Daniel Levy has given the green light to move for Cristian Romero, with the club currently in advanced negotiations for the defender. There's a growing confidence within Spurs that an agreement can be reached with Atalanta as negotiations continue to advance over a complicated deal, though nothing has been agreed yet. Sky Italia said Cristian Romero wants to play in the Premier League and feels ready to do so. He's now pressing to go to Tottenham. The two clubs are negotiating in regards to a €10 million bonus fee. The base fee will be 40 or 45 million. He will sign a 5-year contract plus 1 year extra as an option. Danny, one of the things with the Jules Koundé deal, which we'll touch on a little bit later, people are saying even if we do get this deal over the line, it's not the best because he doesn't want to play for us. You know, he wants to go for a better team, whereas Cristian Romero, he wants Premier League football and he wants Tottenham. How beneficial is that towards us in this deal?
I think that's one of the best things about the deal, because I think all of us right now, we want players who actually want to play for Tottenham. We don't want players who are coming here for money and they're just gonna sit there, take their wage check, and they're just gonna be like another Davinson Sanchez and not gonna give their effort and put their heart in. A big transfer fee for them, and they just don't put in 110%, which is what we need. So for me, I think it's key that someone actually wants to come to Spurs and actually wants to play in the Premier League as well. And someone like that, I'm hoping it's going to be an absolute joy to watch him absolutely bully defenders, because the way he is, he's literally going to eat him up and spit him out. That's what he's going to do. So, yeah, like Dave said, his kind of defender. He's my kind of defender too, man. That is who I want to see. I want to see that sort of that fighter in him. You know, like we've got, it's like having like another Højbjerg mentality type player at the back, and he. So from what I research and understand about him, he sits in between. He played in the back three when he was playing Atalanta, right? So he sits in the middle, and for me that is perfect because he's that leader, that commanding person who's gonna tell whoever's beside him what to do, where they go. If they're not in the right positions, if they're not trying hard enough, he's gonna make sure they're doing that. And I hope they can pull it off, because if they do, it's gonna be unbelievable. And but one thing I did see actually was that his passing ability is not as good as what some people have said. It's actually I was reading a stat about it. Yeah, I think it was today. It was he made I think it was like 2.4% successful pass rate or something, which is, it was some sort of pass rate stat, but they were basically saying that it's exactly the same pass rate successful pass rate stat that compares to Eric Dyer's. It's basically the same as what Eric Dyer's successive pass rate is. So that's the only thing. But from what I've seen as well, he does actually like to drive up the pitch a lot more. So that's going to be beneficial for us as well, because he can play out from the back. So he'd probably learn that in his game. But the fundamentals, what you want in a defender, he's going to have. So for me, that's all I care about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just to touch on a few things you were saying there about his style, the way he kind of sits in the back three, he's very aggressive, which is, if you look at a few of the targets that Tottenham have had throughout this window, Maxence Lacroix from Wolfsburg especially, it is people who are aggressive within that back three, who will step up, try to make those interceptions, actually try and go win the ball back rather than waiting for the ball to come back to you, as a certain manager made us do last season. But David, touch on a few things you were saying. He is Argentinian, but he has that Italian style. He was a Serie A Defender of the Year last year, and a lot of his development has come, of course, at Juventus, who technically is his current parent club, and Atalanta, where he really shone last season. And you mentioned the yellow cards there as well. And I remember, I think it was the 2015-16 season or 2016-17 season when Toby Alderweireld was at his best for Tottenham, which is ironic with him leaving today. But there was a stat that came out, and it was like the second last game of the season, and he'd only got one yellow card all season, and he'd made something like 2 fouls all season. It was absolutely ridiculous numbers, and he just wasn't fouling people. And Pochettino was asked about it, and he said, well, that's not good, because sometimes you need your defender to make fouls, and you need your defender to be booked. And he seems like the type of player who will do that when it needs to happen. He'll make those cynical fouls, or he'll take the man down. And that reminds me of a certain team in the Premier League, in Manchester City. The amount of yellow cards they get and the amount of tactical and cynical fouls they make, they know what it takes to win. Do you think Cristian Romero is a player that will do absolutely anything to get a medal on his neck or to get a trophy in his hands?
Oh yeah, 100%. He would walk over his own grandmother to get a trophy. I'm not messing this guy. But look, we've seen with the Argentinians we have at the club. You know, Lamelas, Lo Celso. You know, the mentality that they come with that sort of street mentality, and it's what you need. And like Danny was saying, and I forgot to say that he's going to partner Højbjerg's mentality absolutely perfectly. I can see them, you know, really getting along. I can see Romero becoming a fan favorite just like Højbjerg, and it's because of the aggression, the mentality, the temperament of the player. And that's what we need at Tottenham. We've become a team that's far too kind, far too nice to play against. And I love, you know me, I love the dark side of the game. And look, sometimes you have to be cynical. That's why I don't mind the yellow cards, because it means he'll make cynical challenges if he needs to. He's not afraid to take a card for the team, which some players would be. Well, you know, I don't want another yellow card because it'll bring my stats down, and you know what I mean. So this guy, he couldn't give a shit about that. He just cares about winning, and that's what we need at Tottenham. We have to try and change this nice culture, because whether people like it or not, teams that win things, they're cynical and they're the best at shithousery on the pitch.
Yeah,
and that's what we need to do at Tottenham. And if we can get another one or two like him and Højbjerg, plus with your flair players, you're going to be laughing. So you want your animals and your cynical players kind of like midfield backwards, and then that allows your flair players to be able to go and do their job, because you're just taking the ball off the opposition and giving it to your flair players. So it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm really excited about this. Really, really exciting. I think a lot of Spurs fans should. He's going to be a fan's favourite. He really is. Look, 50 million. I know some people might say, "Oh, it's a bit much." You know, nah. Trust me. Look, we should have shelled out on Ruben Diaz. We missed that boat. We cannot afford to miss this boat. We need centre backs, and this guy. I know some people might say, "Oh, look, you know, is it like just because it's one of the first centre backs, you know, that is willing to come to Tottenham?" Look, willing to come to Tottenham is a massive part, but we have gone out there for other centre backs. This is one that we have chosen, which is important. That's important because, like we have to get the players in the door. But the fact that we're getting players that were chosen and are not panicking is a good sign to me, because that's why we ended up with a lot of the riffraff that we ended up with last season.
And do you know what? To add to that, right? The other thing I was looking at is that the price, obviously, it's a big fee, but I know there's a lot of talk about them saying that a lot of the reasons why they're doing the finer details is because of the way they're structuring the deal, and that's because they want to pay it over a long period. And I worked out if the deal is, I think the report is like £47 million in pounds, right? If you do that over 4 years, that's only 11.75 million a year. So if you're only paying, say for example, over 4 years, and you pay that this season, you're only paying this season 11.75 million, which is fucking nothing, literally. So that they'll earn probably in bloody drinks actually they will, yeah. If they sell like a food and drinks at the stadium for a whole season, that's 18. Supposedly it's about 18 million. That's like less than what it'll pay to pay him every year. So just alone the food and drinks at Tottenham can pay him off. Do you know what I mean? If they're doing a structured deal, so that's another benefit as well. And because do you know what, right? So when you know when there was talk about the Skriniar deal and last summer, right? They obviously wanted a certain fee and we didn't want to pay it because it was a one-off. It was like they wanted a big sum of it up front. The reason why I think we've been able to go for Romero is because they don't mind actually having a payment structure where you're paying off a certain amount. Because I guarantee you, if they wanted 50 million up front, we wouldn't have done. We won't be able to get this deal. I know it's not done yet, but I think that's a big factor in why we're hopefully going to get this over the line for me.
Oh, you're on mute, Matt.
Apologies. It's absolutely something, the way I see this as well. And there's a few other reasons why I think this can get over the line. You're looking at the £13 million that we got for one fight at the start of the window. You know, that's something that still needs to be reinvested, because we'll touch on Galini in a bit. We have signed him, but that's a fee that we paid next season. And, you know, by leveraging some players in swap deals as well, that's it, like we're going to sign players worth a lot more than our budget is in really intelligent ways. And another bit of money that we're going to get in, which we'll move on to now, is the departure of Toby Alderweireld. He tonight landed in Doha ahead of completing his move to QSL side Al Duhail for £13 million after 6 years at Spurs. David, it's only been 6 years, but he means a lot more than that to the club and to a lot of the fans. I personally would put him in the bracket of club legend for some of the efforts he's put in over the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on Alderweireld's imminent departure?
No, look, I agree with you. He has to go down as club legend. Look when he came in, how much he elevated the club. Him and Jan Vertonghen, the partnership that struck up. I don't think I've really seen a partnership
No.
in my era or in my generation at Tottenham that's been that solid, that reliable, week in, week out,
Yeah.
and who just where one fucked up, the other one was kind of in there to make amends. It was absolutely telepathic. And for me, I just want to say, look, Toby, thank you so much for your service at Tottenham, at the heart of our defence. It really means a lot. You gave everything to the club. And I hope whoever follows in your footsteps can do that as well. You've been a leading example to any youngster wanting to come through as well. So thank you for your time. And look, we kind of knew it was coming, to be honest with you. Look, like the fact that his guitar came out of nowhere, we didn't expect it to happen so soon, but we all kind of, Spurs fans, were kind of thinking he might go over this summer. And to be honest with you, it was kind of getting to signs where he didn't want to be here. He did say he only signed his new contract because he always wanted to work with Jose. Yeah. So once Jose gone, he was kind of like, maybe it is time for me to move on. He gave us that extra year or two, so commendable. But look, he leaves with his head held high. He leaves on good terms. He's out at the Tar, probably massive money because of the World Cup coming up. So it's going to be financially beneficial to him too.
Yeah, and look, for me, the interesting part of this is that it is Qatar, because I felt if he was going to leave Tottenham, it would be either to return home to Antwerp or to move on to a club where he could potentially win prestigious trophies in Europe. And Alderweireld realistically aren't going to win much in Qatar. They don't have the best team. They're currently managed by Sabri Lamouchi, the former Forest manager, but Al Sadd over in Qatar, managed by Xavi, they're the team that just win everything. They ran away with the league last season. I remember it's one of the leagues that I cover at work, and Al Sadd were about 25 points clear at the top of the table, and they were playing Alderweireld, who were second, and Al Sadd completely changed their team, played a complete second team, and they drew the game 1-1. So that is the kind of gap between Alderweireld and Al Sadd at the top of the table over there. So there's a lot of questions for me, but Danny, were you surprised that it was Qatar that he's going to?
Yeah, I was surprised it was Qatar he's going to. But the thing is, I didn't think he was going to go to Antwerp either this season, because I couldn't see them paying the money that Tottenham really wanted for him, to be honest with you, because they probably would have wanted to get him for next to nothing. But look, it's quite a surprise, but you can see from, like Dave said, his financial point of view, he's probably going to be getting paid a lot more money than what he was getting paid at Tottenham. And now in Tottenham, he was one of the higher owners as well, which is quite funny anyway. So that's another thing that's off the wage bill. But yeah, I mean, look, let him. From what I understand, he wants to probably do 1 or 2 years there, and then when at a certain age, he wanted to come back home, didn't he, for his daughter or his kids to bring them up so they can have a better education in his homeland, or Ajax in Netherlands. So yeah, I think it's I wouldn't say it's a good move for him, but in terms of financially, it's a good move, and then he can live his rest of his life happy days, sort of thing. So yeah, like Dave said, he's probably, in my era as well, him and Jan Vertonghen were the best partnership I've ever seen. So they were so steady and so reliable week in, week out, and they're just such clever defenders, both of them, and obviously they grew up together, playing together in multiple teams. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And I think, did they play together before in their when they were back in their home? When they were in Belgium.
I think they played at some youth team together. I'm not entirely sure.
There was a youth. It was either in Belgium or it was in Netherlands. I can't remember, but they did play at a youth team together, so they've known each other for a long time. And yeah, for me, I congratulate him for everything he's done for us. It's a shame he didn't get to win a trophy, just like we can say by a lot of players. But yeah. But onto the next thing. We needed this rebuild, and to get a £13 million for a player who's 32, he's aging. You can see that his legs are not the same as they used to be. I think it's brilliant business, if you ask me. So that can go towards the first year payment of Romero. So yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Absolutely, the £13 million I think is a really clever deal from Spurs, especially from a player that wanted to leave, but one at the age of 32 who only has a year left in his contract. Even if Romero is going to be a little bit more upfront, because I know Atalanta are trying to get Mary Demiral as a replacement, so even let's say they want 20-25 million to get that deal done, but the Foyth money and the Alderweireld money covers that. And we are essentially not paying anything for Romero this season. He's replacing Alderweireld, and we got rid of a bit of Deadwood, who wasn't here last season. So I do think £13 million is a brilliant bit of business from Spurs. But I completely echo the two of you. He's an absolute absolute legend of this football club, and he has, like my time supporting Spurs is a lot shorter than the two of you. Well, not a lot, but a bit shorter than both of you, and him and Vertonghen, without a shadow of a doubt, the best centre back partnership that I've seen, and maybe one of the best that we will see for a while, depending on who Mr. Paratici managed to get into this club. But I'm sure I speak for all of us when we absolutely wish Toby Alderweireld the best in Qatar, and hopefully he can end the reign of Al Sadd, but maybe it's just not that likely. But that's one centre-back who's on the way out. Another centre-back who may be on the way in at the moment, I will say it's unlikely, but there is a possibility. And as I understand it, Tottenham have made a £55 million bid plus Davinson Sanchez for Jules Koundé of Sevilla. It's an absolutely massive offer. And we'll talk about why that's the case, why it's more than what we'd apparently agreed with Sevilla a few weeks back. But David, we'll come to you first on this one. Jules Koundé to Spurs, potentially. What are your thoughts?
I'm a bit torn on this one because it's kind of already been touted that he doesn't want to come to Tottenham. He wanted a Champions League team. And it could end up being the case that Tottenham are the only money that kind of have the money to stump up for this guy in the the money to get the deal done. And that, Tottenham is his only pick. I don't want that to happen. I do think if Varane goes to United, Madrid will probably go in for this guy maybe. That could definitely be a possibility. But look, Koundé, he's very, very, very highly rated right around Europe. And, he's silky on the ball as well. Look, he's not the tallest, but neither was Toby. Toby wasn't the tallest, So, look, it's one I'm torn about. I'm not 100% sure on this one. But, look, everyone tells me, don't sweat, don't worry, it's going to be a good deal. So, especially you, Matty. So, I'll trust you on this one. But me, I have my doubts on it.
Yeah, and you mentioned his height there. It's one of the biggest concerns that people have, and I'm trying to find one of the stats I have here from his time. So he's only 5'11", but he averages 3 aerials, 1 per game. With the season before last, 4.1 aerials, 1 per game, with a 74.5% success rate, which puts him in the top 5% in Europe. And that season, he had so many stats that were comparable to Virgil van Dijk, such as successful dribbles, tackles 1, dribblers tackled per 90, possession 1 per 90, and successful pressures. So, Danny, while he's not the tallest player, again, just 5'11", he makes up for that in his ability to leap and his strength as well. But would you have a concern that despite that, if you're over in Spain and you're playing some, say, nice footballers, like you're not going to get a Burnley over there, it could be easier to win headers than if you're Jules Koundé and you're coming up against Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes. Do you think that aerial dominance he's had in La Liga is actually transferable to the Premier League?
Do you know, it's a good question, Matt. It's hard to say because, like you said, right, they're very different leagues, completely different. And the Premier League is a lot more physical, probably have a lot bigger players. So it is going to be very different. I mean, with Koundé, for me, out of the two, Koundé or Romero, I want Romero all day long, no matter what. That's who I want. If they were able to do some kind of deal where they say they sell Toby, or it looks like Toby's gone anyway, so it looks like Romero's going to be his replacement. Say if they manage to get Sanchez out, and then say, you never know, if there was an offer for Dyer, they could get rid of him. And I think if that was to happen, then they'd probably go for someone like Koundé because they'd use the money to get from Dyer, and then they would probably go and get him. Now, if you're asking me, would I like both of them? Oh, 1,000,000%. I could imagine having Romero in the middle and Koundé as right centre back, and then you have someone like Rodon as left centre back. It'd just be a dream, wouldn't it? You got a 6'4" monster in Rodon, you got 6'1" or 6'2" Romero, and then you've got Koundé. So, and who has proven he's very good in the air anyway. So, I think they would all balance each other out, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think if they could pull it off, it'd be unbelievable, and I would be all for it. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's young enough to adapt to the league. It all depends on. I mean, I know obviously a lot of players come to the league and they don't adapt, but if he's got the football brain, I'm sure he can adapt. And the way he's obviously played the last sort of year or so, he's proven that he's a very intelligent player. So yeah, we'll see.
Surely, surely quickly as well. Surely, if they are going for the two of them, like the Romero deal is supposedly nearly done, and they have put in a bid for Koundé, Matty. Surely they're buying these as a future, as a partnership. That's what they see, partnering each other. Because I do feel against the bigger teams like City, you probably will go 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs. But against the smaller teams, most of the season I do see us actually playing a back 4. So surely they're buying Koundé and Romero in view of having a partnership together.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but Wayne Bonner here with the £2 super chat says Kunde won't come. What about Demiral? As a few people there saying in the chat, Wayne, it does look as though Mary Demiral will replace Cristian Romero at Atalanta. But thank you very much for the super chat. We do appreciate it. What I would say is I personally wouldn't take Demiral because he's had a few ACL injuries in the last couple of years, and it just doesn't seem like a very wise investment. But David, on your point there, it is something I was going to ask about the formation that Tottenham would likely be playing. And I've been leaning towards a 4 at the back in the last couple of weeks because of the signings we're looking at and the way we've obviously shaped up in pre-season. But Cristian Romero is playing in the 3 at the back at Atalanta, and if you're a player like him who is so aggressive coming out of defence, you need a quality defender behind him. Because again, we can look towards Wolfsburg in the way they played last season. It was Maxence Lacroix was being extremely aggressive, stepping out of defence, and the only reason that really worked most of the time, it didn't always work, was John Brooks in beside him, just being a very experienced, very clever centre half. Danny, what defenders at Spurs could be that one beside him? Because it could have been Alderweireld, but of course he's moving on. Dyer, Sanchez, Rodon, Tanganga. Do you think anybody can be that reliable in the backline to play alongside Romero in a 4?
If I'm going to pick anyone right now, it'd probably be Rodon, to be honest. I think that's the person I'd go for. I think, well, I don't know. It's hard because Tanganga, I like him as well, but he hasn't proven himself yet at centre back, and I've seen better performances from Rodon in the little we've seen at centre back than we have of Tanganga. And I love Tanganga, don't get me wrong, but I just think Rodon's he's a big lad as well. He's not slow. He's very good in the air. And you saw just before Mason came in last season, in the last couple of games of Mourinho, he was one of our best players in all of the games. And for me, I saw something in there. I thought, yeah, he can be a player, and he's going to make mistakes, but I think you've got to give him that chance now and just put him in there, and that's who I'd probably put next to him, because he's a little bit like kind of like an old-fashioned defender, where his first thought is defend. His first thing is do not concede a goal, and that's what you want. You want someone, the mentality is that I'm stopping, I'm doing anything possible, I'm throwing my body at it, I'm taking people out if it means stopping that going in, and that's kind of what like Romero's like, and that's a little bit what like Rodon's like. So for me, it'd have to be them two.
Do you agree, David?
Look, what I will say on Tanganga, just quickly, he's had a lot of injuries which has hampered his progression. He knows that himself. He done an interview with Ali Gordon. Look, this season is huge for him, but he will be in around the periphery of that. Joe Rodon, for me, I think would be perfect to put in beside Romero. Joe Rodon loves defending. If Romero wants to come out with the ball, Maguire does it with United. If he wants to come out with the ball and push up a little, by all means, just get Rodon to get in there. Get Rodon to come in. Just tell him you don't go. It's all about communication on the football field. Yes. Just get one of the fullbacks to come in beside him while Romero goes forward. It's simple. But with Rodon, from what I've seen, go back and think about the recovery run he made to cover Toby Alderweireld against Marine in that game. The block he got in. Then there was a couple of games towards the end of last season where I was just watching him. He's very good at reading the game. Whether the ball's over the right or the left, he puts himself in a position to be able to get across and make that and cover that. So for me, I think he'd actually be perfect to fit in beside Romero if we don't sign somebody, because Rodon loves defending. He loves, again, he's a bit old school, really. Look, he's one that when he first came in, he made mistakes, but when he got his chance near the end of the season, he really stepped up. He really stepped up and he looked competent. He looked competent in the Euros too. And for me, he loves getting in blocks and all. And I think Romero and Rodon, R&R, I think, the two of them can be a nice partnership together. I really do. Look, we have to remember as well, lads, we're in a rebuilding phase. So no matter who we get in, the team, there's going to be teething issues in the team. We're going to see some mistakes here and there. But look, we just have to roll with it. And look, it's a rebuild. And I think it'd be a good partnership in the long run.
Yeah, I really agree with the two of you there. With Wayne Bonner with another £2. Thank you so much, Wayne. It says, how solid is the Romero transfer? It looks as solid as it can get for me. Again, as I keep on saying, there are complications with this because he is technically a Juventus player, so we negotiate with Atalanta. If we agree to deal with them, they will then sign the player from Juventus as per the loan deal they have in place since last year, and then we sign him from Atalanta. So this is one that, when everything is done, could just take a couple of days to process and all that, but I think this is as solid as rumours get, really, without getting a here we go from Romano. Just before we move on from centre-backs, I just want to say, with regards to the Kunde fee being higher than it was a couple of weeks ago, the main reason that is because with the sale of Brian Gill to Spurs, Sevilla no longer need to sell Jules Koundé, so they don't need that injection of cash, so they can fight for this on their own terms, because if they don't sell him, fantastic, they keep their player and they won't be in any financial trouble. And as Danny said, with the installments we're playing for Romero, it could free up a lot more cash on our side to get that done. But Koundé, not particularly likely to be a Spurs player, but I don't think it's one that we can rule out just yet. But on someone who is a Spurs player, Tottenham this morning confirmed the signing of former United, Villa and Atalanta goalkeeper Pierluigi Gollini on an initial year-long loan deal with an option to buy at the end of the year. It is believed that option to buy is for £50 million, or £50 million rather, and it will become an obligation to buy if he makes 20 appearances for Tottenham this season. Danny, Gollini, talk to me.
All I'm going to say is he's better than Joe Hart, so I'm happy days. But
Simple as.
Simple as. But yeah, look, it's for me, Joe Hart. I mean, we all know that was a bit of a stupid buy, to be honest with you. But Gollini, I think wasn't there a stat? I don't know if you saw it, Matt. That he was had the third best stats in the Serie A last season from behind Donnarumma, and then there was another keeper. I can't remember who it was. Matt, hello.
Sorry, I'm muting myself again. I think it was Handanovic of Inter Milan.
Handanovic, that's it. Yeah, Handanovic. Yeah. So the stats wise, he seems good. Now I watched your Euro Expert video with the Euro Expert and on him and how he feels about him. But look, again, it's controversial because it's a different league and it's a different kind of, when you come to a new club, your sort of drive, your determination, your goals change. So there's a lot of things to it. And I think, no matter what, I think he's going to be better than Hart. So let's see how he does. And the only thing we can do is give him a try and see how it goes. And then we can judge it for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know your expert, Alex, was a bit critical of some parts of Gollini's game. I mean, his distribution stats, his keeper-sweeper stats are quite good. But there's one man who was extremely complimentary towards Gollini, and it's Fabrizio Romano when I had him on last week. And I'm going to play a quick clip of what Romano had to say.
Many clubs from Spain, from Italy have been asking for this goalkeeper because he's been one of the best goalkeepers in Serie A for many years. Has been also in the national team. Then he had some problems with the manager, Gasperini, and that's why Atalanta decided to go for Musso, for another goalkeeper from Udinese. Now Gollini is one of the biggest opportunities on the market, and Fabio Paratici is always keen on the big opportunities. As I said, it's not only Tottenham, but for sure Tottenham are in the race. They had contact with the player. He was already playing in the Premier League because he started his career at Manchester United Academy, and then he was moving to Aston Villa in Championship. So he's always been close to English football, and he will love to be back at top level in English football. So let's see if Tottenham could find an agreement with Atalanta, if any other club will jump in the deal. But I can confirm that he is one of the potential options for Tottenham this summer. And that, in my opinion, would be really interesting because I remember one year ago or 2 years ago, Inter, Roma, many clubs, also AC Milan, wanted to sign Gollini, and Atalanta were asking for 30 or 35 million euro. Now is a big opportunity because they signed another goalkeeper, and so Gollini is on the market and would be really, really interesting for Tottenham to sign this kind of player.
So a few things just to pick there. First of all, Roma and Inter Milan were interested in him last year. Atalanta were asking for up to £35 million. Now, I've seen a few people kind of get a bit concerned over the fact that price has dropped so significantly. There are three reasons for that. The first one is they brought in Musso from Udinese, who was going to be their first choice goalkeeper. Romero fell out with the manager, Gasperini, and his contract has, of course, shortened since then. I think there's only 1 year left on his Atalanta contract, which is the reason that we've been able to get him for a lot cheaper. David, what are your thoughts on this one?
Look, for me, I actually think it's a good all-round deal. To be honest with you, look, it's a try before you buy scenario, really. You know, you loan him in, you see if he's any good, you really put him through his paces. And then even if Hugo Lloris does go, we're not going to be stuck in a position where we're going to be exploited to try and buy a goalkeeper in the market because we just have that option to take it up for a second year loan. So it's a good deal all around. It's one that I'm sure Daniel Levy had no problem signing off on, to be honest with you. Absolutely no problem at all. And yeah, for me, look, I think it's a good deal. Look, it's a bit of a like-for-like replacement for Joe Hart in the terms of, look, Joe Hart was the bingo organizer, the cricket organizer in the dressing room, you know, but Gollini comes with his own entertainment, which is the rap. He's a rap star in Italy. He's a rapper in Italy for anyone that didn't know. So, you know, he comes with his own entertainment too. So, yeah, no, look, I do. It's just a try before you buy. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a deal that Spurs have kind of used quite a bit in the last couple of years. First time with Gio Lo Celso, and that went so well that we triggered the option to buy 6 months early, and then we did it with Carlos Vinicius, so that went so horribly we didn't even entertain the possibility of making that a permanent deal. But it's one with Gollini that I think could work out, and the fact that there's 20 appearances in there, a clause in that will make it an obligation to buy for 15, I think Spurs are perhaps feeling there is potential for Galini to become our number one choice keeper this year and replace Hugo Lloris, who, as we felt for maybe a year or so now, is probably coming towards the end of his time at Spurs. And Galini, he's not exactly young. He is 26, but he's only been in the kind of playing first team football at a high level since 2017 or 2018 when he first went on loan to Atalanta from Aston Villa. Danny, do you think he could be replacing Hugo Lloris in the immediate future, or do you think it's one that maybe he's just coming in to kind of get used to the place before he replaces Lloris maybe next season?
Yeah, I think with him, I think it's more so Lloris will probably kind of he'll take him under his wing. He'll give him some experience. I think he'll probably learn a lot from Lloris. And yeah, just train with him, see how a top professional trains in terms of someone like of Lloris's stature. I mean, he's been one of the best keepers in the world for the last 5-10 years, I would say. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Yeah, at least. So, yeah, I mean, look, if he comes in and is just like just unreal, and he's just like on another level, and this kid just completely is like the next Donnarumma sort of thing, and he's at his age, then he'd probably take over Lloris's position. But it all depends on how Lloris performs, because if Lloris starts performing really badly, obviously he's gonna swap it and give the keeper a chance. So. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think he's going to get a lot of game time in like they've already said in the cups and stuff like that in the Conference League. So it'll give us our best chance to kind of see how he is. And then obviously if Lloris is injured, then he's going to be stepped up and he's going to go in as our first choice. So we'll see what happens.
Go on. Yeah, sorry. Just quickly to add to that, it'd be nice now to see at Tottenham a player like a second choice keeper in retrospect that, you know, when he is playing, that he's going to do his best. He's not just going through the motions like Joe had, because he was signed as that. You know, he just go through the motions and then Europa League games. Look at some of the complacency he showed with some of the goals he conceded that he should be saving. So it'd be nice to see Galini when he does play, you know, having that eye on the number one jersey. You know, especially if Hugo Lloris doesn't sign a new contract, because he only has 1 year left. So it'd be good. Hopefully, it means we'll get the best out of him, so that when we are in these cup games, even if things aren't going well, we have a keeper that's not just going through the motions, that actually will try and pull off the saves to keep us in the game and everything else, and hunt down that number one jersey. So that'll be an interesting match this season.
Yeah,
for sure. Wayne Bonner with another super chat, another £2. He's on fire tonight, Wayne. Thank you so much. Says, David, where's the Spurs shirt?
My Spurs shirt, look, to be honest with you, lad, I'll be honest, I've sent them all to the missus. She's I gave her a box of Daz and I said, get them in the washing machine, baby. Let's get them sparkling white for the new season. So that's what's going on, Wayne.
Dave's getting them all ready to take a picture with his new collection when he gets the new home jersey with Jack Clark on the back of it. Bobby with the says, big up you gorgeous people. Great to see so many handsome faces on the stream. Oh, hi Danny. No need for that, Bobby. No need, but good to see you in the live chat.
Fuck
let's move on to one other Gogama with the 3000 one with the super sticker. Thank you so much, really appreciate that, Gogama. But move on to one other potential incoming, or eventual incoming, I would say, because it is Bryan Gill, and Romano again reiterating today that Tottenham and Sevilla have actually completed the paperwork for this deal to swap Eric Lamela and Bryan Gill, with €25 million also going the way of the Spanish side. It's a big deal for Spurs, valued in and around €45 million, which is about the release clause that Bryan Gill has with Sevilla. But David, we'll come to you first on this one. Bryan Gill to Spurs, Lamela to Sevilla with 25 million. What are your thoughts on the deal and the change in the players?
Yeah, the deal. Look, 25 million and Lamela going the opposite way. It's a good deal, to be honest with you. I was getting worried. I thought Lamela might actually reach the 10 years, which is a testimonial stage. So he's only reached it, you know, for as little as is given to Tottenham. But look, it's a good deal for me. Look, in a way, I am sad to see Lamela go. At least one thing he showed me last year, that he, even though he didn't contribute probably what he would have liked to over his Spurs career, he still cared. With the amount of effort that guy put in last year when he did play, you know, and he really showed. He got stuck in as well, and it was good to see players like, you know, put in the effort when some weren't last year. So in that aspect, I'm kind of sad to see him gone, to be honest with you. But with Gill coming in, I'll be honest with you, I haven't really seen too much of him. I know from what I've read, from the research I've done, this guy is shit hot with the ball at his feet. He's got quick feet. It's amazing. It's like me on the Astro, Matty. You know, a couple of step overs, a little jink to the left and right, and he's gone. And everyone's just looking around like, you know, where did Harry Potter go to? It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait. But look, another thing with this guy, look, he's not going to come in, hit the ground running. He's at the Olympics with Spain. So he's going to come in. He's going to take time to adjust. But he can put pressure on the first team. While also, for me, what I'm excited is that we're going to have players like him and that off the bench. So I don't know about you, Matty, last year, but anytime we were looking at the bench during the watch-alongs, it was like, who can we bring on to change the game? And you look at the bench, you're like, nah, don't even make a sub. You know, just keep going. And like, at least this time round, we can look at the bench and we have players that will want to come on, want to make an impact and want to try and get into the first team, not players that are sitting on the bench sulking. So that'll be a huge plus. But with this guy, my feeling on it is I potentially think he's coming in to play a centre attack and midfield role in some aspect in the future, because he's a bit like Luka Modric. He's even as ugly as Luka Modric, to be honest with you, right? But when Luka Modric came into Spurs, when he arrived at training, the likes of Robbie Keane and all the players back then were like, who is this guy? Like, they were laughing, like, this guy's not going to cut it. After the first training session, he was that good. They said, this guy's the best player on the team by far, and he's going to rip up the Premier League. And that's what Modric done. If we can get this guy playing in there with his quick feet and hopefully get his passing, you know, improve his passing and that over time, left and right, he's going to cause problems, because when you're in around that box, in and around the edge of the box, and you have that quick feet, it's a big, big plus, because everything else slows down in your brain, but you're so quick. You know, it's what you want in them positions where you see things almost in slow-mo, but you're that quick, and then you can just play it through. It's absolutely brilliant. And for me, I think eventually that's where this guy is going to end up.
I definitely agree with you on that one. He has the ability to play in that central role. Look, he can play in the left and the right as well. One of the things that makes him so special is there aren't many left wingers out there who are left-footed. So he is kind of that old-fashioned, but I think that just clashes too much with an overlapping fullback. But guys, let me know in the chat, between Cristian Romero and what's his first name? Brian Gill. Which player do you want to see us sign the most? So let me know in the live chat, either Romero or Gill. Or if there's any other options like Tomiyasu or Kunde, do let me know. But let me know in the live chat who you want to sign while we go to Danny on your thoughts on the Brian Gill deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good deal. Look, I echo what Dave said as well. With Lamela going the other way, I think it's a good move for him. I think it's probably 6 years too late, but I mean, there we go. It is what it is. The one thing, like David said, you can't fault Lamela for his attitude, his mentality, in terms of he would do anything for that badge, and that's the type of. And he did, yeah. And that's the type of player you want. It's unfortunately for him, he had so many injury problems, so he couldn't get enough game time on the pitch over the years. And there were occasions he wasn't consistent enough that we needed him to be. And that's the reality of it. And we can't keep paying someone a lot of money who's not really. We're not really utilising him enough because of the game time he's getting because of the injuries. So I think it's a good move, and I think someone like Brian Gill, coming on. I call him David now. Yeah, David Gill.
I was going to call him David a second ago. I couldn't think. That's what I was thinking. That's really strange.
Yeah, David. It's because David talking about doing his step overs, going past player, beating him. I think it's David Gill now.
David Gill plays for Hull.
Yeah, definitely don't want that David Gill. But yeah, like I think like David said, I'm the same with David. I think that he's probably going to end up playing in the middle. I think he's going to be one of these players who's going to be utilised a lot, sort of in the sort of early years. Sort of, he'll play sometimes on the right, sometimes on the left. He'll kind of rotate a bit, but wherever he plays, I think he's the type of player who's going to. I think he's going to be a little bit like a Lamela, where he's going to play for the bad sort of thing. He's going to give everything, because the stats that I saw and read about him, that he presses from the front more than anyone. He's got one of the best pressing stats in. For a player of his age in that league, from what I was reading. So that's another good thing. And if you've got a player who's got a quick feet like that, who's very intelligent and who presses from the front, he's gonna not maybe shithousery, but he's gonna sort of get in your face and get stuck in a bit. Then that's what you want. And then someone who literally in a split second is just beating your man because the guy is too quick for them. So for me, that's gonna be brilliant. And I hope it echoes Modric, because I remember Modric in his first season when he first came in. He was a bit lightweight. You could see the talent was there, but he was getting barged off the ball a lot, and he was sort of getting used to the Premier League. And then as soon as the second season came, he was a different player completely. And then that's when the real Modric came out. So and the thing is, what I think, right? I actually think Brian Gill, I think he could potentially shock people this season and maybe play more game times than people think. Because if you look at it, right, he's 20 years old, right? Is he 20 years old? I think he is 20.
21, I think.
Oh, 21, right?
Yeah.
Pedro Neto's 20 years old, and no one really expected anything of Pedro Neto. And look at how the way that Nuno trains him fitness-wise and how he trains him tactically, he just listened and he did well. And he's obviously surprised so many people. And I think Brian Gill can do the same. I think he can shock a lot of people. Just like when Nuno came into Wolves and they brought in Adama Traore. Before that, his career was kind of stagnant, really. It was like he showed glimpses here and there. He was never consistent. Yeah. He got him training the right way in terms of fitness-wise for a football match, and tactically made him more tactically aware as well, and when to run, when not to run, and it completely changed him. And I think he's going to shock a lot of people, Brian Gill. And I hope he does, because we need someone like that, like Dave said, to have on the bench who can come off the bench and impact the game, not someone just going to run around and do nothing like Harry Winks.
Yeah, and Aaron Fernandez here says as well, he just seems lively. When I watch his 20-minute cameo at the Olympics, feel like Gill will get people on their feet. Wayne Bonner as well with another £2 super chat. Wayne, thank you so much for your support. Says, do you all think there'll be any surprise transfer? Personally, I think this Gill one is a surprise transfer. Before I go to the lads on that, I just want to play another quick clip from the stream at Romano the other day.
It depends. Sometimes it takes a long time, and sometimes he's signing a player like in 24 hours and you didn't hear the name. Wow. This is Paratici style. I still remember last summer he signed McKennie from Schalke for Juventus in 24 hours, and no one reported his name till it was almost done. So sometimes he's working on 5 or 6 different players, because also for the media. So sometimes he's priding the names in the media, just to work secretly on another target. Sometimes he's working for different strategies. So he's really particular. But yes, some negotiation will take time. Some negotiation will be maybe top secret, and then you will discover it just at the end of negotiation. This is Paratici style. We know him here in Italy because he's been one of the key men at Juventus to win 9 times the Serie A in a row. So it was incredible what he did with Juventus. But it's also thanks to this kind of style. So sometimes to keep it secret, sometimes to go with public names, 5 or 6, and then moving only for 1, of course. This is Paratici. You will see that will be funny, I'm sure.
Fantastic insight there into Don Fabio, as we're going to call him from now on. David, I would say that when that was recorded, nobody knew anything about Brian Gill. It was the next morning that Romano actually came out with his exclusive that this deal was going to happen. Do you think there's any other surprises up Don Fabio's sleeve?
First of all, I want to say you look like you're in heaven there when you're sitting there with Fabrizio Romano, lad. You look like you're in your version of heaven, Matty. Look, I think Spurs already let the surprise out of the bag when they put up that picture of Ronaldo today, on their Facebook page. Look, I'd expect 1 or 2 I'd expect another surprise signing. I really would.
Danny?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to get another surprise signing, but also in terms of players going as well, because this Toby Alderweireld one, it kind of came out of nowhere, and then within a day he's already flown over to a club in Qatar, and he's going to sign for them. So no one expected him. People obviously had an incline that he was going to leave, but no one thought he was going to be done like this and to a club in Qatar. Everyone thought it'd be maybe a European club. So
for sure, I
think it's going to swing both ways. We're going to get surprises both ways, I think, personally.
Well, let's hope they're good surprises and not in the shape of Harry Kane. Talking Ball says, any word on the severity of Tomiyazu's ankle injury? It is expected that he'll be back playing in the Olympics for Japan, so it's not a long-term thing. There was initially, they felt that he'd be able to play in their game tomorrow. That's not looking likely at the moment, but it's definitely no concern for Spurs and definitely no concern for any potential deal that could be done this summer. I want you to all listen to Giovanni Lo Celso in the chat and spam Don Fabio into the chat. So if you're watching, spam Don Fabio into the chat as many times as you can and as many times as you want, because this man is the saviour of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So this is the one time I'll give you permission to spam in the chat, so spam Don Fabio in as much as you can. One player that may or may not be on the way out, we're not too sure about this one yet, is Steven Bergwin. Mike Verwij of the Telegraph in the Netherlands said this morning that Spurs have rejected a loan offer from Ajax for Steven Bergwin, and Tottenham will only consider letting him go on a permanent deal for €25 million. David, do you think Bergwijn needs to go, or does he deserve another chance?
I'm surprised, I definitely thought they probably would have given him one more year. With Bergwijn, they really haven't got what they paid from him. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of Bergwijn fans out there, but we haven't. And sometimes with these players from Holland, seeing it time and time again, top prospect comes into a team in the Premier League, Can't cut it. Look, for me, it's a tough one, It's a tough one. At the minute, I would say, look, if we got 25 million, I'd take it. Quarter losses of 5 million and go and reinvest it. But the only way that deal is happening is if we have someone lined up. That's the only way that deal will happen. So I think it's kind of like, I think Ajax will eventually stump up the money, but I think it's just basically, look, if we can get someone else in, well, then we'll sell him. If not, he's not going anywhere. So for now, I wouldn't take too much. But they are working on Damsgaard, so if Damsgaard comes in, that could be a signal end for Bergwin. So it's interesting times on this one. One thing I will say, it is good that we're kind of we're not giving these players anymore like 3-4 years to kind of settle in at the club and paint their nails, whatever else they want to do. We're literally making sure, if you come in 2 years, you're not performing, you're gone again. So that would kind of send out that sort of message. So look, I'm torn on this one.
Yeah, I can't decide if he deserves another chance or not, because he started out so well with at the start. With, I think he scored in his first 4 games at the Tottenham Stadium. He was a fixture in our team, one we wanted to see there. But ever since the game against Liverpool, when he missed those 2 chances, I feel like it's just all been downhill from there. And if someone is willing to pay £25 million for him, I'm sure there's a more experienced and just simply better Premier League experienced winger that we could get for that. What are your thoughts on it?
Is floating around, isn't he?
Leon Bailey, yeah, I think he's in talks with Everton, but I'm sure if we went in for an offer there, he would probably change his mind and go to Merseyside. But Danny, what are your thoughts on Bergwin?
Yeah, I've been having this not arguments, but kind of I sent out a tweet yesterday about it and saying, would you take Damsgaard for Bergwin? And a lot of people was very mixed opinions on it, and some people like saying yeah, definitely. Some people were saying no way, and it was like yeah. And for me, I think I'm with David, right? I said it again yesterday. I said if an offer comes in of 25 million euros, then I would say cut our losses, because at least you've pretty much kind of got back what you bought him for, and then you can reinvest it. And I'd probably trust Paratici to invest it the right way and get someone in who maybe can fit the style that even better than Bergwin than what we've got now. And maybe Damsgaard is that player, and you want players who are confident and they're not afraid to kind of take on a man and beat a man. Because with Bergwin, when I watch him, it's like he's got the ability, but it's like he just doesn't take the man on, and it's like he could beat him easily if he wanted to, but it's like it's a confidence thing with him. Like, you saw it in, I know it's only a friendly against Colchester, where he was 1-on-1 with the keeper. Any top player, any confident player would bury that chance, and he had to wait and nearly messed up the pass as well. So I mean, yeah, for me, I would give him another chance if we don't get an offer for him, and if he stays, I would say give him another year. If he does the same again this year, then get rid of him the next season. But if the offer comes in, then let's cut our losses. That's how I'd see it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. And I know there's going to be a lot of split opinion in the live chat as well. Would you accept a £25 million bid for Steven Bergwin? Let me know in the live chat with a yes or no. Let's see what the feeling is there. Just to say, between Romero and Gill earlier on, by the way, it was overwhelmingly Cristian Romero that people wanted into Spurs. We're going to move now on to some updates from Alistair Gold. And these are going to be some quick-fire ones. So, David, I'll come to you on the first one. Spurs will listen to offers for Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer this summer should they arrive in order to bring in 2 new centre-backs. I assume you're very happy.
Yeah, short, simple. Should have been done 2 years ago, so about time.
Fair enough. Danny, Moussa Sissoko is expected to leave the club this summer with interest from a number of clubs across Europe.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Oh, this is my new favourite segment. David, Tanguy Ndombele and Giovanni Lo Celso are expected to play a key creative role this season for Tottenham in both deeper and more advanced positions under Nuno.
Yeah, look, and Ndombele, everyone says if we get him fit, he's going to be an absolute player for Tottenham. It could have it. Look, if he gets fit, he's going to have a meteoric rise. He'll become one of the best midfielders in Europe over one season. So for me, get him fit, perfect. Lo Celso, I think, would probably be the deeper of the two. Maybe with Ndombele playing a bit further forward, but who knows, if Ndombele gets fit, he could be like our Moussa Dembele with Lo Celso playing a bit further forward. So yeah, I'm all go for it. I'm not sold on Lo Celso, so big season for him.
Couldn't agree more. Danny, Ryan Sessegnon is expected to compete with Ben Davis and Sergio Reguilon for the left-back spot this season. Nuno Espirito Santo is a big fan of the player and tried to sign him whilst Wolves manager.
Do you know what? I just hope that Ben Davies is our third choice next season. To be honest with you, if they're playing, it depends on the formation they're gonna play, right? Because if they're gonna play three at the back with the two wing backs, right, then I want Sessegnon all day long. To be honest with you, to be fair, I'll probably want him over Davis anyway, even in the back four. But yeah, I think they now this is the time they've got to start giving Sessegnon the chance and just let him play. And Nuno apparently really likes Sessegnon and liked him when he was before he wanted to sign him for Wolves, I think it was. So he does like Sessegnon. So that's a big plus, and hopefully that he can get his fitness up even more as well, and get him to kind of like go through a transition period or like a sort of rise period, how Danny Rose went through, like get him training the right way tactically, make him a bit better defensively and more aware of his surroundings, and also let him just kind of get a bit of freedom to go up the pitch and actually playing some good crosses and stuff like that. So for me, I'm looking forward to Sessegnon, and I think I'd rather have him than Davis.
Yeah, nail on the head as always from you, Danny. And David, the final one here from Alistair Gold is Tottenham central midfield could see a number of changes before the transfer window closes, with Spurs open to offers for Moussa Sissoko and your player of the season, Harry Winks.
Do you know what, Matty? All the times I've gone down to the church after games to put Euro in to light a candle and pray to Jesus, it's finally come to fruition. You know, he's looking down on me saying, Dave, you're a shining light. I agree. Winks has to go, so thank you very much. Honestly, it's been one of the biggest bugbears and frustrations of my YouTube journey so far, is the amount of people that stick up for Harry Winks. I can understand it, but like, just need to call a spade a spade. He's not going to cut it at Tottenham. Look, as much as he tried, good luck. Good luck with your career. Thank you. But you just haven't been good enough. And hopefully we can definitely get one over on the Toffees. Look, if the Toffees sign him, I'm definitely getting a big bag and sitting there and eating them. Even though I'm in the gym and all on a diet, I'm still going to go through it because, you know, it's going to be music to my ears that Moussa Sissoko, do you know what? As much as he is shit on the ball, to be honest with you, I like him because he just runs around and gets stuck in and makes himself really, really awkward and annoying to play against, right? But look, it's another one. Yeah, look, it's time. It's time. I just want to say quickly, I'm kind of looking forward to this season. Well, no, I'm not kind of. I'm absolutely ecstatic for this season, right? Because we have a lot of youngsters, right? The likes of Skip, Sessegnon, Hill, Gill or Hill or whatever way you want to say it, right?
Nailed it that time.
All coming in with points to prove. They need to have a big season this season. We have Lo Celso, Ndombele. You know, Reguilon will be second season in the Premier League. Hopefully, Doherty can get a rocket up his arse and start performing out on the right side. You know, Lloris, he's going to have competition for his place. That could bring the best out of him. You're going to have a new centre-back partnership. So there's a lot to look forward to. Son signed his new contract. And sometimes, look, a wounded animal is the most dangerous sort of animal. And hopefully we can be that going into this season. Come on, you Spurs. I'm absolutely pumped.
Oh, I love that. We have a super chat there as well from Wayne Bonner, another £2. Wayne again on absolute fire tonight. It's a very simple super chat, but it's very powerful. In response to Danny, he just says hallelujah. Hallelujah, for sure. But look, again,
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, maybe singing is a few, Danny. Look, there's going to be, like Alistair Cole said, a lot of movement in Spurs in the next week, both in terms of incomings and outgoings. And look, at the moment, we're just waiting for confirmation of Toby Alderweireld's move to Al Duhail. Which again, if you haven't missed the news today, Toby Alderweireld is in Doha in Qatar to complete his move to Al Duhail in a deal worth £13 million for Spurs. But one deal that Spurs fans don't want to talk about, but we're going to talk about because I enjoy seeing you two suffer, is the future of Harry Kane. And I know there's a very, very split opinion on this one. Fabrizio Romano was giving us some updates today, and the main bit of what he said is that there's a big possibility that Harry Kane will be a Tottenham player next season. Just get the full update from him. He said, Man City made an offer to Tottenham of £100 million for Harry Kane some weeks ago, which included the possibility of including players such as Aymeric Laporte and Gabriel Jesus, but Spurs chairman Daniel Levy turned it down. Man City are waiting for Harry Kane to come back to Tottenham to have talks with Daniel Levy, Fabio Paratici and Nuno Espirito Santo before deciding on their next move. Spurs are adamant that they're going to convince him to stay at the club. There's a big possibility that Harry Kane will be a Tottenham player next season. The Athletic have also said Levy is determined more than ever to keep hold of Harry Kane. Fabio Paratici is also confident that he will not be sold this summer, whilst the club have communicated to the striker that they expect him to remain a Spurs player. I know the Athletic also said that Man City have said there's no chance they're going to spend £160 million on Kane. Go come out with the 5,001 super chats. It's great stream. Matt David the Bun, fantastic. Goguma, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Bowser says viewers dropped from 979 to 79 after Danny tried singing, which look may have happened, but we'll forgive him because I enjoyed
Looks
it.
like I have to go on X Factor then, doesn't it?
Danny, what are your thoughts on Harry Kane? Not as a player, he's class, but on his future.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, personally, I don't think he's going anywhere because the way it looks, Man City have kind of like trashed these rumours, and for me, I know Josh has been saying it in the chats and about CK66 and people that know what's going on with Kane's camp and that there's things already agreed. For me, all that is just absolute rumours just to try and sell stories and create rumours and stuff like that and things like that. So I just think it's there for clickbait and papers to make money. I think unless you pay the money that Levy wants, he ain't going anywhere. And and Man City seem to have said that they're not going to pay that sort of money. I mean, if Arsenal are paying 50 million for Ben White and Grealish is valued at 100 million, then I'm telling you one thing, yeah, Kane is definitely I'd probably say you take for Kane right now. And can you see honestly Man City paying 150 million right now? I don't think so. Especially if Tottenham want the money sort of up front, unless they do some sort of deal. And I have said it, the only way they do it is if they do kind of a deal like what we're doing with Romero, where it's like an installment where they pay a big sum. So maybe like they might pay 60, 70 million up front and then they do the rest of it in installments. So it could be something like that. You never know. But I just can't see it happening this season. I think it's going to be, I think what they'll do is they'll sit down with Kane. I think Paratici, Daniel Levy, they'll sit down with Kane and say, look, we're buying Serie A's best defender, right? We're buying this. We're buying this player. We're buying this player. We want to make a push this season, and we want to try to do something this season. And give us one more season, and then see how it is at the end of the season. And if we still don't make the Champions League or win a trophy or whatever, then look, we'll let you go for a lesser fee next season. That's what I think they're going to say. Whether or not Kane will say yes or no, we have to wait and see. But I think we'll probably know a lot more this week. But I personally think he's going to stay this one more season.
I do think he's going to stay as well. David, what are your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you, it just makes me very, very angry seeing these reports, to be honest with you. Like, the thing is, it should be a case where Harry Kane walks in to Paratici, Nuno and Levy and says, can I go to City? And just a no. You have 3 years on your contract, you're not going anywhere. It should literally, it's that simple. Just no. And the thing is, Kane's not going to be the player. We know this. He's not going. I don't want to hear anybody say this because we know the type of man he is. He's not just going to go off, disappearing and play golf like Carlos Tevez or someone like that. You know, he's just going to come down. He's going to have an even better season to make it to the point where, you know, it's impossible for City not to put the money in. With City, I don't understand where they're going to get 160 million from, because they don't get the revenue from the stadium because it's half empty every week. So, you know, I don't understand how they can spend 160 million on one player. But look, for me, it's just that imbecile of a brother of his. It's just that booner running his mouth. It really is. And it's so frustrating. You know, look, it's annoying. I don't know where that Sun reporter got it from. I don't know where he was speaking to Kim Kardashian or someone like that, and that's where he got the news. I'm not sure, because he is one of them reporter things. He's not even a sports reporter.
No, he's not. Yeah,
look, for me, the only thing is what worries me is it does seem a bit like when we saw Gareth Bale. We spent the money before Gareth Bale come in, and then all of a sudden Gareth Bale's going to Madrid.
Yeah.
Now, there could be that element to it. Me and Ben were talking about that the other day, and Atkins, unless they have it structured out geniusly, which I do think a lot of clubs probably will be doing now with their transfers, having them structured out over the next few years, or whether we've behind the scenes sold the naming rights to the stadium, I don't know. That could be another option where the money's coming from. But look, I just want to keep Harry Kane. I don't care. I know people are going to tell me, look, you know, we're a football club at the end of the day. We'll move on without him. I get it. But this guy's my bae. He's my favourite ever player. And I just want...
I think my laptop is... Yeah, I think my laptop's doing its usual thing again. I don't know what's going on. A few super chats there. Go Van with the
Dude,
£2.
Dave, your words of wisdom. Oh, is he frozen again? Oh.
Fan base, and my laptop is freezing. There we go. Go on with the £5 there as well. It says Aouar is available for 25 million. We should sell Winks to Everton and go for Aouar. He's definitely worth the price. It's literally a no-brainer, and he's one that I know Spurs are heavily linked with. We'll chat about him in a second. But Bobby also with the £2 says Ben White equals 50 million. Kane only 3 times better. Poppy socks. Not heard that word before, but it sounds like one that Bobby would say. Thank you, Bobby.
Bob Shaw.
Just to take a look at that super chat. I apologise for the issues here, guys, but my laptop is just a waste of money. Just one moment. We got to get to those super chats. I Hate Marmite says, don't need an out.
We need to get you a few fans for that laptop, lad. Keep it cool.
Oh, we do. But I Hate Marmite says, don't need an out-and-out centre back. Out-and-out right back still. Can Tomiyasu cut it? I think Tomiyasu is coming in to be a right back here. To be perfectly honest, Aaron does have that's Limerick internet for you. It's actually not the internet. The internet's fine. It's my laptop. It gets like over an hour in these streams, especially when I've guests in. It just doesn't work out too well at all. But guys, I get your quick opinions on Houssem Aouar, and then we'll wrap it up. So David, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Houssem Aouar, player I really like. Good friends with Ndombele, played together at Lyon. You know, sometimes you just need that friend. If we could get him in, it could bring the best out of Ndombele too. And plus, it means we'll get one over the scum as well. They've been tracking this guy, couldn't get him. And I'll be absolutely loving it. You know, I might even go and do a little video like AFTV did for Party with this one. So, look, yeah, all in all, it'll be a good signing for Tottenham. Over to you, Danny.
I think it'd be a great signing. I mean, it definitely improved, like, what we've got. I mean, when you just, I'm sorry, but you just look at Harry Winks and Moussa Sissoko. I mean, any player's going to fucking improve them too. So I mean, yeah, 100%. I think if we could get someone like him in, for me, and I've said it on your stream, I've said it on other streams before. For me, the player I would love the most out of anyone, if we could get him right now, is Frank Chiesa from AC Milan, because he's not only is he an absolute tank and an animal of a machine in the midfield, but he's also how do I say it, like. He scores a lot of goals, so he's very good attacking wise. He's a bit of a box to box as well, so he can do a bit of everything in the middle. So for me, if it's going to be anyone, it would be him. But I think that's going to be unlikely. But yeah.
Well, look, there's going to be a lot more links throughout the rest of this transfer window for Spurs fans to really get their teeth into, and you're going to hear about all of them from myself and some more fantastic guests throughout the transfer window. So to the 842 people that are still watching, please do hit that subscribe button. It would be massively appreciated. I just want to say quickly, the numbers on this stream tonight have been absolutely insane. We're averaging out about 950 live viewers for most of the stream, so I do really appreciate that. We're actually back up at 932 now, which is ridiculous. So please do hit that like button if you are enjoying this news. Hit the subscribe in the channel as well. We've got about 100 subscribers during this stream, which again is crazy, with nearly 9,000 people tuning in throughout the whole. Definitely my best ever transfer stream, so please do support the channel. Do make sure to go over and check out David Harris at the Irish Hotspur as well. And there is a link, by the way, at the top of the chat and at the top of the description. It is your job, it is your task, it is your obligation as a Spurs fan to head into that link and vote Best New Content Creator, David Harris, the Irish Hotspur, and Best Young Content Creator, Matt Hayes, Tottenham Blog, and Best Club Content Creator, We Are Tottenham TV. We massively appreciate it from the Tottenham YouTube community. We're hoping to do some big things with that, so please do, at the top of the chat or top of the description, hit that link and show us some support. We massively appreciate it. But David, let people know where they can find you on YouTube.
Yeah, look, you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. I don't really do much transfer updates. I tend to leave that to Matt. There's no one rivaling Matt on it. But look, what you will find is good heated debates, good football opinions, and good solid lads on the channel. We have a lot of new content that I'm not dropping until the season starts. But make sure you get over there and subscribe early, because it's going to be a fantastic ride this season. And if you want positivity, I'm your guy.
Absolutely. Danny, just explain what's going on. Where's the channel, and where can we find you on Twitter?
That's on hold at the moment because of just things that are going on in my personal life. So it's whether or not I'm going to have the time to do it. I'm kind of discussing a couple of opportunities. So there might be something in the pipeline with someone else. But we'll see. But you can find me everywhere, really. I'm most of the time I'm on David's channel, so the Irish Hotspur, and I do come on as a guest on your channel as well. So I'm pretty much a bit of a sort of slag, really. So I go everywhere. So yeah, I'm everywhere. So it's like Tottenham fans, everywhere we go, mate. So that's me.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Guys, do make sure to check out the two of those. Incredible content from both of them on Twitter, YouTube, wherever you want to find them. They really do appreciate that support, and I would appreciate if you did go and check them out as well. We're on 340 likes with 900 people left watching, so let's see if we can get that number to 400. We massively appreciate it. But for now, we are going to wrap it up there. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, all that good stuff. But for now, and as always, thank you so much for watching.
Come on, you Spurs.